In my last video, I described one explanation to why time flies by, but how do you actually slow it down? These concepts are ones I've come up with myself, but also some that I've read up on. These videos only explain one explanation, okay? They're not a one answer fits all situation. If the other concepts, well, I don't know. I'm not a master, but maybe one day I'll find out. So, how the heck do you actually control your time? To your dismay, there is no magical switch that will allow you to do so. I call this process the change. It's not easy and it takes a special kind of person to do it. It's developed over much effort, over time, and it's not like learning a simple skill. It's a complete transformation of the state of mind. Now, the attitude of, oh, I'll do it another time, just isn't really good enough. You should use the time that you have now and left to create the change. So, before I explain what the change actually is, I do recommend you watch my previous video about an explanation to why time passes quickly, because a lot of this will now make sense. So, I'm going to say something that's probably a bit unconventional. Time flying by doesn't have to be a negative thing necessarily. The time flying by, such as in the level 2 good state or the flow state, that time flying by is a good thing. You enjoy it. Whereas when time's flying by when in level 1 bad state, you don't enjoy it. So when you are spending your time in the present worthwhile, such as in level 2 good state, yes, the time flying by is in the present, but when you look back retrospectively, the time actually feels slower because you spending all this time having fun, building novel memories, probably because you're doing something you like. It's not repetitive, like as in when time is feeling bad for you. Okay, because most likely you're doing the same thing over and over again, such as a job you don't like. When looking back at that, it's all the same. It's all a blur, such as when you were during COVID. Looking back, those few years are just like blended into each other because there's no memory milestones. Okay, when you're actually living your life to the fullest, you've got all these novel experiences to create memory landmarks to make it look like the time in the past was longer than it felt in the present. Now, I'm going to pop up on the screen four lives, really, the four main ones. Okay, so you can live a fast, happy life, but a slow past. Most people don't have that, unfortunately, and it's really the one you want to aim for. Then you can have a fast and happy life, and but a fast past. This is what most people have, unfortunately, and it's not very pleasant. Then you could have a slow and happy present, but a fast past. This is also bad. I mean, you can make it feel slow in the present, but that's not going to be nice, such as the level 2 bad state. And then the last one is when it's a slow present, happy slow present, and also a slow past. To my knowledge, that isn't possible. So it's just almost an added one to show that it's a thing, but it's not really a thing. So the one you should be aiming for, in my opinion, is the first one, where you're living a fast, happy present, but a slow past. So that's the key in the process of the change. Time going by quickly doesn't have to be negative. It can be fast. You enjoy it, but that when you look back at it, it'll feel slow. Almost a win-win. Now, that is just one explanation, okay? There may be some way you can slow down time in the present that you're happy with. I don't know that, but just through my own knowledge and experiences, this is just one way that I've come up with. Now, one thing you should be wary of is comfort. Now, yes, it feels nice, but it can often be a bad thing. When you're constantly living life in comfort, such as, you know, when you get back from work, you've just done 8, 9 hours and you want to relax, you watch TV, eat pretty crappy food. That time going by, yes, it's comfortable, when looking back, it's going to seem all the same every single day. You often cover up your discomforts, with meaningless entertainment, drugs, alcohol. Now, it is, of course, a general rule of thumb to work towards those things, but in context of time, when you're constantly in comfort, the time will pass quickly because everything is the same. When you focus on being in discomfort, not necessarily, of course, just being in pain all the time, but such as, taking a cold shower. Discomfort leads to obviously long term gain, but also it kind of breaks up your day. Okay, and when you're looking back on it, the time will feel slower. Maybe the time during it is still fast. Maybe it is, maybe it's not, depending on what you do. But when you look back on it, because it's broken up, you've got those memory landmarks, it's slow in the past. So yeah, I'm not saying to be in pain constantly, because obviously you need one to be the other, the yin yang, if that's the right term. To give you an example of how discomfort can bring, slowing down time, when people meditate for long periods of time, for maybe many days, many weeks, and constantly being in meditation, I think there was a term for it. I have just forgotten the name of it, but they find the people who do that, the time in the present and also in the past feels very slow. They've removed all the comfort in their life and are just focusing on their mind. I think that's pretty cool. Going back to what I said in my last video, we obviously can't stop future looking. We're always going to make dates in the future, of course, that we look forward to. It's inevitable. So the way we can work around that is, instead of looking forward to an event even more that's going to happen in the future, what we can do is change our perception of the present, the only thing that we can change. So if we change the present from being disliked, where we don't really want to be in it too much and we look forward to a date that's in the future, to one that the present's actually enjoyable, plus not being in constant comfort and living beyond your edge and building exciting new memories, that distance is not going to be very large and we're not going to future look so much. Thus, even though the time in the present may feel quickly because you're having fun, since you're not future looking, and when you look in the back, time's going to feel slow. Both of those combined, overall, will slow your perception of time. In my opinion, you can't directly slow time, but what you can do is make it stop looking so quickly. You can change your perception when looking retrospectively of how fast it went. You can slow it down by actually living life to the fullest. That's the important part. Out of the 4 lives that I talked about, I've tried emphasizing that the first one, where you're having a happy, fast present but a slow past, is really the one you want to aim for. The other two, which are actually a thing, aren't really ones you want to live in, and nor would you want to strive for. Yes, guaranteed the time in the present will feel quickly, but wouldn't it be nice knowing that the time you spent was worthwhile and you did something you liked? Plus, the time looking back on it is going to feel slow. Why continue choosing to live a life which you don't really enjoy, where you're constantly future looking, and with the added effect that time feels fast in the present, but also the past? The change is not some magical trick that will change your perception of time. It is through immense effort that we can change our attitude to the present, the only state of time which we can't actually control. It's through changing your state of mind, your level of emotional intensity, and using biological tendencies to your aid. And through that, we can change our perception of time. Well, I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. I've really tried my best to explain that. It's not easy. But if you've got any further questions, write them in the comments. I'll help to get back to you. But with that, thank you.